Hello, welcome back to another video. This is my channel, Conscious Evolution, and I am Alan Taylor. Thank you for joining me here today. I appreciate and love each and every one of you. Today I wanted to talk about spiritual warfare and how that is being conducted in our reality now, and what to look out for. Now, more than ever, it is so important to hold every thought captive, to really be conscious of the thoughts that you're allowing and entertaining in your mind. That's what the war is. It's a war on your beliefs. It's a war on your thoughts. Now, with this energy in this Lion's Gate, we've been collapsing timelines, old energies, old behaviors, old thought forms that we have entertained. We're purging those. We're letting those go. We're collapsing those. We've learned our lessons. We're moving on. Well, this darkness, this war, this spiritual warfare is trying to insert that little seed of doubt. And that's all they need for you to have that little doubt. If you have that little doubt, you open yourself up to these thought forms. And there's all kinds of thought forms all around us all the time, especially in public places. Imagine all the people and all the thoughts that they have. Those thought forms are things. They are here. They are everywhere. You can't see them, but they are. And a big part of this is the discernment to recognize when you're thinking thoughts that are not your own. And that's a tough thing to do, because how do you tell when you're thinking a thought in your mind? How do you know if that's yours or not? You got to question it. Question your thoughts. Does that thought have your highest good as an intention? Is it there trying to better you, trying to evolve you into more of a love and compassionate state of being? Then that thought's not serving you. It doesn't really matter if it's your thought or not. If it's not serving you, then let it go. Let it go. Your life will be so much better. I have recently entertained some of these thought forms. It was something where my divine counterpart and I got off balance a little bit, and we opened ourselves up to these dark thought forms that came in rampant, like they were just hungry and eating and really driving a wedge between us, or trying to, and they didn't succeed. Anyways, these thought forms, they're let's call them dark. The darkness is trying to keep these old timelines active as we're shifting out into higher states of consciousness. We're shifting into higher timelines. The things that were not for our highest good, we're letting go. Those are the old timelines, the old cycles, old behaviors. We're letting that go, and we're stepping into a higher timeline, a higher frequency, a higher state of consciousness. And the darkness doesn't want that, because the darkness is not... it's not an intelligent being. It's just a thought form. But if you open yourself up and allow that dark thought form in, then it truly has the potential to become evil. Because without intelligence, it needs a human consciousness to attach to. And with the human consciousness, then it is then in control, or at least has a great deal of influence on your avatar. You know, you and your higher self should be driving your avatar. But if you let this thought form in, then it's you and this dark thought form that's driving your avatar. You cut yourself off from your higher self. And that's what I believe had just happened to us. And I didn't enjoy it. And I had experienced this a couple months back when I did a video on entity attachments. And I've since kind of evolved from thinking of them as entity attachments as dark thought forms. That's the same thing. Essentially, same thing. The darkness is working overtime right now because they really don't want to let go. So this is more important than ever right now to really be cautious and conscious of your thoughts. That's why I put out the video that I did back in December with your words are weapons, because they absolutely are. The words that you speak and the thoughts that you think are designing your reality. You're creating new timelines when you are on that path of love and compassion and not entertaining the darkness. But when we entertain the darkness, it can take you off your path a little bit. Well, you're never really off your path. Maybe that's something you needed to learn, because the darkness is still there as a teacher to teach you not to be so susceptible to it, to not allow yourself to entertain those thoughts, because the thought comes and it creates that doubt or creates that question in your mind to where you start entertaining it. And as soon as you start that, you're building momentum towards that dark thought form. And it will trigger you and trigger you and trigger you. It'll set triggers up now for like the next couple days. It's going to want to trigger you, because when you get triggered, you emit that energy and it feeds off of that. It needs your consciousness to have intelligence. So don't give it intelligence, especially if you're a light worker. If you're a light worker right now, whoo, boy, take the extra steps and precautions or whatever it is. Take the steps to balance your energy, to I don't want to say protect yourself, because that sounds like there's a fear there. But if you just be aware of the thoughts that are entering into your mind, because and question it. If it's not of love, if it's not of compassion, then what is it doing there? Is it serving a purpose in your life that has your highest good in mind? If not, then point at it and tell it to get the F out of there, because it doesn't belong. It's not part of your reality anymore. Another interesting thing I learned today that really resonated with me is when you think bad thoughts about people, when you're thinking negative or damaging thoughts about somebody, you're sending that energy to that somebody. So really got to watch out, because if anyone's thinking of you in a negative fashion, they're sending those dark thought forms, those energies to you. And if you're not protected by love and compassion, which is the ultimate protection, if you live in love, nothing can penetrate your field. If you're truly of a balanced love and compassion. And that's what I work on daily. And I, even knowing that I've entertained these thought forms, and I just had the conversation before this happened that I do not want to experience that again, I experienced it again. Not even realizing it until, it was a much shorter time period this time, but still. And then once you realize it, you got to, it's hard to get out of. You got to really plant that seed. Okay, well, this isn't of love and compassion. This isn't who I really am. This isn't what me and my higher self want out of my life. And you switch your energy a little bit, but that trigger comes right back and it's still fresh. It's still like an open wound that it's like digging into. And it brings you back. Then you got to go back. I'm back of love and compassion. And this isn't what me and my higher self want. And you get out of it a little more. You start to build that momentum to get out of it, but it brings you right back and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. It takes time to get out of it, because you've already built that negative momentum up, and you are then manifesting that into your reality, or at least have the potential or possibility to have that show up in your physical reality. So that had happened for us, and I didn't enjoy it. And I've now am recognizing more and more what really happened and how quickly that escalated out of something so small, so tiny. Made a mountain out of a molehill. Quickly. So really watch what you're going through. These portals that are opening, this Lion's Gate, the full moon eclipse energies. It's just, whew, it's intense. So really hold every thought captive. Analyze it. If it's not there for your highest good, point at it and tell it to go away. Because it's not there serving you. It's not for you. It's not of you. It's of this matrix world. It's of the old timelines, your old energy, your old behaviors that are no longer serving you. So let them pass through. You know, we can't always stop them from coming into our mind, but when they come in, you can recognize it and not entertain it, not give it energy, not allow it to attach to you. And just move on about your day. And stay in that light, stay in your love and compassion. During the midst of all this, and this is kind of what woke me up to what was really going on. After that first day of or the second day maybe, it was kind of like an uneasy energy between us for a couple days, and we've been slowly shifting out of that, but it felt like everything changed. Like the way we coexisted together just wasn't natural, it wasn't comfortable, and it wasn't pleasant. And it was very reactive energy, and I didn't, I was really trying to figure out how to get out of it. And when I do that, I tend to dive into it more, which is not the way to go about it. So that first night, as I'm recognizing and shifting out of it, or second night, whatever it was, I was recognizing and shifting out of that thoughts, those thought forms, those energies that I didn't want and I knew weren't my own. I had recognized that, and I had recognized that my counterpart was just being a mirror to me. They're mirroring me, I'm mirroring them. So that night I had a dream right after we had fallen asleep. In the dream, it was weird. It didn't feel like a dream at all. It felt so real. It was like we had fallen asleep and then woken up in the middle of the night, and she had a phone call, and she was like doing a video conference at 2:00 in the morning, and it woke me up, and I coughed or cleared my throat or something, or both. I think I coughed and cleared my throat. And in the dream, she looked at me and she was like, "Really? I'm on the phone." Like, whoa. And I woke up right after that, like, whoa, okay, that wasn't real. Oh, wow, like it felt so real. So real. It freaked me out because that is not what I want. But I believe that dream was of two parts. One, of healing, but two, showing me what this timeline would look like if we continued on. If we continued entertaining it. It was my higher self or spirit guide showing me in the astral realm what that reality is going to look like if we keep entertaining it. And that was all I needed. Nope. Because that reminded me of my old relationships, the old cycles, the old timelines that were collapsing. So that told me and showed me that they're trying to keep that alive as I'm collapsing it. So there's no way I'm going to let that happen to me. I've come too far and I've done too much work in here to allow that little teeny tiny thing to throw us out of alignment. We have a divine purpose together. I truly believe that. And we have a divine purpose for being here on this planet right now. All of us. We're all here because we wanted to experience this shift in consciousness and evolve. And that's what's happening. So I hope you're having a great journey. I love each and every one of you. I hope you got something out of the video. Please really just hold every thought captive. Think before you speak. Analyze the thoughts. Is it there for your highest good? Or is it there to keep an old behavior, an old cycle, an old timeline active? Because that's what we're stepping out of now. So the dark is going to fight to keep that alive. All right, guys, I love each and every one of you. Be the change that you want to see in this world. And bye-bye.